Hi, my name is Mark Bernard. I'm a monetary economist. In this video, I want to talk about the collapse of the Russian economy, how it's inevitable unless somebody gives them sanctions relief. It's already set in stone. It's happening. It's beginning to happen. And my name is Mark Bernard. I've studied this my whole life. I've studied monetary economics since the 80s, believe it or not, academically. And I'm an academic economist. I've also lived in Eastern and Central Europe, as well as in the States, my whole life. I know some languages. I'm pretty much have my pulse on the Russian economy. And many people ask for evidence, besides the evidence that the Russian ruble is below a penny, besides the evidence that interest rates are up over 20% and going higher, and the interest rates that actually might take a loan at might be 28, 30%, which brings the profitability of any enterprise in Russia 0.0, and that's based on natural rate theory, Knut-Wicksell or Hayek Mises. Now, besides these economic ideas, you have the idea that they just don't have any money. Infinite wants, limited resources. As much as they claim to have infinite resources, that is simply not true. Nobody does. The richest person in the world, think of the richest person in the world, they can't put a colony on Mars next week. They simply don't have those resources, not only, and also technology and logistical ideas. Similarly, it is with Russia. They do not have infinite resources. And my claim is they have a budget of $463 billion for 2025. My claim is in 2025 is going down. My initial projection was end of 2026, year end, in accounting speak. But midway, June 30th, cut the books. 2025, anything after that, it's going down. It's going down now. Because if they have $463 billion scheduled on their budget, and I'm going to break that down, then my claim is they only have a GDP, the way I calculated, of 450, and I'm going to get into that. So first of all, I've explained some of my credentials as an academic economist, and I can go in more detail at another point, but I also get my data. Where do I get my data? I get it from Carnegie Endowment Foundation for Peace in Berlin. It's not, maybe it's not the best place. They have some economists that are Russian in there, and they kind of give a in-between story, but they have pretty good data. It's not to be confused with Carnegie Mellon. I also get it from the Oxford Institute for Energy Studies. I also get it from Vladimir Milov. He is a Russian economist, and Andrei Nikolai Iranovos. Okay, that's a mouthful. These are two Russian economists. They put out data, and their data is fairly objective. I make my own data. Okay, I look at it. I drill down. I wish I could put more data on the screen, but I just don't have the time for that. Okay, so right now, I'm just going to articulate it, and you stick with me, and you let me know what you think. So first, according to the Russian, spokesperson in the Kremlin or whatever, what do they have? Like 2.3 trillion, and everybody in the news would just articulate it and repeat it in GDP. That's national income. That's an aggregate number. Well, it's funny, when I drill down to Numero data, which has, 27,000 at least user input data, probably actual data, and I say there's 75 million workers, actual workers in Russia, and multiply that out by national income, I only get a national income of 450 billion. I know that's not really an official way or a good way to do it. It's just kind of a cheesy back of the envelope way, but it's a pretty good estimate of how much a country makes. So if you have a budget, according to the Kremlin, of 463 billion, and my back of the envelope calculation of 450 billion, how does that add up to you? Not only that, let's say the tax rate, let's say they siphon 25% of that for income. That's a much, much smaller level of income. What, $100 billion for taxable revenue? And we've already established that they don't have the ability to attract foreign capital. Okay, they just do not have that. And, evidence is their stock market is going down. The RSI T is going down. All these indicators are showing that's true, that they can attract foreign capital. It's not coming into any of the currencies or the capital markets. They can't raise debt. They certainly don't have that ability because it's sanctioned, but because nobody has confidence. So it has to come from tax revenue. You say the National Wealth Fund, high, sky in the high, pie estimates, if if you believe their estimates of 150 billion, I've got some swampland in Florida to sell you. Okay? I say it's less than 50 billion left, much left. And that can be burned in a few months based on the Russian budget. So now that we've established that the real income for Russia might be, let's say, in tax revenue, let's say it's 150 billion. Okay? Their oil and gas, it's estimated between 80 and 150 billion. I would put it at 80 billion max. The price of gas, you look at Brent in real terms, you always have to look at real dollar terms, is on a significant stage 4 downward decline. You know, I keep on using stage 4, but it's a very good technical analysis, but you got to put it in real terms, not nominal terms. And in terms of their gas, that's their oil. In terms of gas, they're estimating 30 billion in profits. I don't even know if they'll make a profit. I mean, is Gazprom going to make a profit? So if that's their main thing and they just have one big hot pipeline and they hook it up to the Kremlin in terms of revenue and, you know, nobody has anything to keep the lights on, it still doesn't add up to 463 billion, because let's look at the Russian budget. They say 150 billion on defense. Okay, baloney. You know, when I tell people that how to take a standardized test, I say 3 answers are usually baloney immediately, or 2 answers. You can just say baloney, baloney, baloney. I mean, 2 of them might be 50-50, but the first couple are just ridiculous. 150 billion. The wealth fund would be like totally blown. And then all oil and gas net profit, not only mentioned that you can only get taxed a certain amount of net profit without retained earnings being sealed off. Okay, doesn't make sense. Police 38.9 billion, but police also mean some like true internal guard units. What? Let me continue. 72 on social, don't believe it. 47 billion on the economy reorganization with subsidies. That's even just exacerbating the inefficiencies. 2.6, I think it's on education, and 0.7 on health. That doesn't sound like very good. 0.7 on health? Sounds like nobody there is going to be making it. They're in for sure ones. And then you have this black box, 154 billion other. But that 154 billion, I can tell you what it is. I told you the police number, because remember, the #1 priority of the Tsar of Russia is loyalty. All he cares about is loyalty. He's not going to pay the army before, he'll pay the police before. So that a lot of it is 15 to 30 billion on FSB operations, 30 billion on surveillance and propaganda and internet and security and hacking and all these things to try to weaken the West. So, you know, if you just take police alone, internal security, FSB, the propaganda machine and everything, that blows the Russian ability in terms of taxes and wealth fund already. And so the lights can't go on. I mean, how this works out, he'll stop paying people in the army. He's already kind of doing that in extended benefits. He won't be able to pay, obviously, medicine, schools, teachers. They don't have bus drivers. They have labor shortages. So anytime you hear labor shortage, that means you don't have enough money to pay them. Because you pay somebody $1 million to drive a bus, sure, you're going to get a lot of bus drivers. So whenever you hear the buzzword labor shortage, that means they're out of money. Because they're not paying the market rate that would entice somebody to go out and work, right? I'll be a bus driver for $1 million a year, or even for $80,000 a year, right? But labor shortages mean nothing. What it is the price that they're offering is too low. I'm in real estate. Some people say, oh, you know, I can't sell my house. What do you have it listed for? $2 million. I say, you list it for $1, the market will clear immediately, right? So it's supply and demand, the market mechanism. The price always works. The price always works. And the price of labor, a wage, is telling me there is no labor shortage. It's just that they're running out of money. So there we go. That's the deal. They don't have the budget. Then the taxes, they can't extract blood from a stone, even if they were to tell the Russian people were to just, you know, gather rainwater from the sky in their mouth and eat insects. They don't even have insects because they spray everything in Russia. Like I said, they have the best chemicals in the world for insecticides and pesticides. So the lights go out 2025. Maybe they'll have the Christmas tree, you know, January 1st. Boom, the lights go out and the Christmas tree goes on, and then flicker, the Christmas bulb and the Christmas tree lights start to flicker, and then just all of Russia is black because they can't pay the electric bill. I mean, you guys don't understand. Just put it in your own situation. If you are running a house and you're running a huge deficit in your household, negative cash flow, you can't raise debt. And already the bill collectors are coming. They're going to be shutting utilities off. They're shutting buses, trams, and things like that down. Really complicated things. Logistics are not going well. So the only thing that can save the Russian Empire and the Tsar of Russia from utter collapse in 2025 is going to be great to watch, is if some bloke gives them sanctions relief, okay, in the form of a negotiation or something, and you know where that would come from. If the U.S. gives them sanctions relief, it may not be implicit sanctions relief, like we're lessening sanctions. It may be like releasing money from banks and just freeing it, use these rosy, warm, fuzzy terms. So stay tuned. I'm going to have more on this, but the budget came out, the defense budget came out, and I've recalculated the GDP numbers, and I've looked at any ability for them to raise capital either in the equity market or the debt market, which is 0.0. And the profitability of the Russian firms is 0. How are you going to tax somebody who's not making a profit? And I've done the numbers. I've been an accountant. I've been an investment accountant. And it is absolutely the biggest disequilibrium, discongruency I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm going to say it might be even bigger than the collapse of the Soviet Union. So my name is Mark Bernard. I'm a monetary economist. How can you not have a great day? Thank you very much.